Welcome to Web3 and Me, presented by FLOLiO. I am your host, Jeremy Weber, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Dan Vondelok. Dan, it's been a weird week.
Yeah,
Lots been going on, some really bad stuff, but, want to know how you're doing, buddy.
I'm doing decent myself, all things considered. It's a little bit surreal to be sitting here after last episode where we kind of touched on the Russia and Ukraine situation, both kind of thinking wasn't really going to happen. But here we are. It like all hell broke loose there, and feels kind of surreal to be sitting here talking about markets and stuff. Yeah. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. It's really sad, everything that's happening. I know you and I, we went back and forth on whether or not we should even do the show today,
Mm-hmm.
just out of respect for everything happening. And I don't even, at this point, I don't even know if there's a right answer.
Yeah, it really
But
isn't. Yeah.
there isn't a right answer. We decided to go forward and just do it because, the markets don't stop. And while this isn't something, I think people use like Twitter and NFTs to escape real life too much.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's been, things are really bad right now. I get it. I'm not trying to use this as a way to escape and to avoid dealing with what's happening, but you and I can only do so much. So we decided to do this today to talk about what's going on in NFTs because, people still do need to make decisions about, their finances. And while nothing that we discuss today should be like a hard, fast rule of what to do, we want to give some commentary, a little bit of color to what's going on. And, we're going to do the best we can to do this in a respectful manner and not make it, not make it weird.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up right off the top is quite a few prominent people in the world of NFTs and Web3 are coming together to help raise money to support the people of Ukraine. So I'm going to quickly share a screenshot of something that was put out on Twitter today. If you are interested in learning more about it, please go ahead and follow the organizer of this. I don't want to butcher his name, Satvik Seti. I hope I didn't butcher his name, but him and Andrew Wang and some other well-known, well-respected people in the world of NFTs are coming together to do something. They'll have more information out today or tomorrow, and whatever we can do, we will do. We can't solve all the world's problems, but we sure as hell can try to help just a little bit during a lot of really bad stuff right now. So please go ahead, follow a few of these people on here to get more information about it, and we'll retweet information when we see fit from the FLOLiO account if you want to give us a follow on Twitter as well. So Dan, I think I've said what I want to say about it. Do you have anything else you want to touch on before we recap the week in NFTs?
No, I think you put it quite well. It's just it's hard to find the real balance of sitting here and not give financial advice, but give our take on NFTs and give our take on the markets. Like I said earlier, it's just a little bit surreal. Hard to find the real balance between respectful and market wise like opinions and stuff.
Yeah,
But
it was Wednesday night. I was sitting there and I was watching some of this unfold, and I was lucky to be able to sit at my house, watch it, just seeing it, not having to experience it, holding my son, seeing videos of families
yeah,
hiding out in subways with their babies. And it's just really, it's fucking terrible. Like,
yeah,
it's just awful. And it's really sad that we live in a world where this is going on. And I hope that, you know, some form of resolution can be found, and we can try to help in a tiny way. So I'll leave it at that. Let's get into this week in NFTs. I haven't really done a whole lot. I've been just kind of sitting on my hands because things have been so uncertain.
yeah,
You know, it's been I've seen a lot of stuff floating around on how people are handling different markets right now, whether it's
yeah,
NFT or crypto. And I think it's a really, obviously, very complex issue. One thing that I've seen over and over again is people have been sharing this article that discusses, how the traditional finance world has reacted during, times of war,
yeah,
and how the markets can tend to actually, go up and things like that. I would caution against making any broad sweeping decisions based on previous times, because this is still unprecedented. Like, we're coming
yeah,
off, there's still this pandemic going on. in the U.S. in the past during times of war, fiscal policy has been eased to try to help people. That's not going to happen this time around. There's still going to be, interest rate changes with the Fed. So I would caution against using any other, examples of times like this to make decisions because it's a very unique situation.
Yeah.
So I've been just kind of sitting on my hands, not trying to make any hasty decisions out of, fear right now because I don't want people to look back in a few months and be like, if I would have just, kind of stayed calm a little bit more,
Yeah.
I regret making this decision. I think that's one of the reasons we're trying to do this show today is like, it's important to do the right things for yourself financially and remaining calm and trying the best you can. I know it's hard to keep a level head right now is a really important part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I myself, I haven't sold anything for the same reason. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are maybe scared that this whole ordeal might like burst a bubble, or um, but as it appears that the NFT market's still strong. It dipped a fair bit when everything just started happening, like a little bit before the invasion and during the invasion. It's still ongoing, but right now it's the NFT market looks reasonably up, except for some of the larger projects, most notably Bored Ape. But to be fair, in their defense, a correction was bound to happen eventually, right? For Bored Ape, they've been going up like quite some time. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. And as someone who owns a Bored Ape, I'm not concerned in the least bit.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it. I did sell one, that I own half of a few weeks ago when I was near the top. So that definitely makes
Yeah.
it a little bit
Perfect.
easier to
Yeah.
swallow.
Yeah.
But it was only a matter of time. Like that huge hype, when Justin Bieber bought his and that everything ran up to the floor of like 110. Like we've talked about with every other project, Bored Ape is its own special project, but let's be honest, it's not that special and unique to where it is, invulnerable from pullbacks because
Yeah.
that's going to happen with every project out there. Like it can't go up forever. So I'm not surprised to see a pullback. I saw a lot, this once again, I don't want people to take advantage of times like this, but a lot of people were accepting like wrapped ETH offers on
Yeah.
high ticket items well below the floor because they were scared. And so I would just caution against making that fear-based decision. Because, easy come, easy go, but it's not going to just fall straight off a cliff. I saw some like crypto influencers like Keyboard Monkey talking about how, Bored Apes are going to go back to 20 ETH. And
Yeah.
sure,
What? Okay.
sure, that's possible. I'm not going to pretend like it's
Yeah.
not possible, but let's not act like it's going to happen overnight, okay? Like that is
Yeah.
completely crazy. The team is continuing to build. They're continuing to do some really great stuff. More news will be coming soon about Ape Token. If it does go to 20, it would take a monumental collapse of pretty much everything else
Yeah.
in NFTs and crypto. So let's just pump the brakes a little bit there.
Definitely.
So yeah,
I think
I'm not concerned about Bored Apes.
Yeah.
It'll bounce back over time. We'll be fine.
I think it's just like maybe it's a weird comparison, but like kind of like it's like the Bitcoin of NFTs, right? Where if you can see Bored Ape going to 20, then just wait for all the other projects that are like around 20 right now.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a massacre. Like I don't think it's going to happening anytime soon. I don't see it happening at all, but who knows at this point.
Anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
So what all have you done over the last week? What else?
Yeah,
Anything
so
else you want to touch on?
yeah, I bought some more Ethereum at its very lowest, and it's like when it dipped extremely hard. I felt like it was a like decent price, and I had some money lying around, so I was like, yeah, sure. I guess I'll load up some more. And then I looked at Wolfgame more because I'm like a pretty big. I'm still pretty bullish on Wolfgame. Then I saw their token was like 9 cents, down from 20 cents like a few weeks prior. So I bought some more of that, and now it's back to 0.15.
Love it. Great play,
So
Dan.
yeah, so a nice 60% up on the purchase. So Like again, it feels weird to be profiting off this stuff, but you know,
Yeah.
I guess that's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So quite a few things have gone on since our last recording on
yeah,
Tuesday. A big one was we had Tuesday night, I believe it was, the reveal of the most recent Mega Mutant, and
yeah.
I was list. There was a big Twitter Spaces that had some of the Bored Ape Yacht Club team on it, and it was really
Oh, shiny
interesting.
was it?
No, it was
Oh,
OXB1, who is one of the owners of the Mega Mutant. He was one of the
all
main
right.
people, and there were a few other members of the community who have been around since the very beginning who hosted it.
Yeah,
And so it was really cool to hear the new co-CEO come on and talk about her vision for Bored Ape Yacht Club, and more so what Yuga Labs, the team who runs BAYC, what their vision
yeah,
is, and how they're planning on creating this whole universe of characters and storylines with Bored Apes at the center of it. And I think that's really, really cool if they can execute on it. That's a big ambition. We've heard Pixel Vault talk about they're trying to create their own universe, and Bored Apes trying to raise money, I think, is a good thing for that. Obviously, I think a big part of their work with venture capitalists is also going to be, getting in touch with the right people to help
yeah.
them with this, because this is uncharted territory for a Web3 brand to try to build something so huge. So it was pretty cool. And we've talked about the Mega Mutants in the past. There were, before Tuesday, 3 Mega Mutant serums left. And so either a Mega Mutant, a Gold, or a Trippy was going to be minted that night. Dan, have you seen the picture of it yet? Have you seen it already? I'm
It
assuming
was the Trippy, right?
the Trippy. I'm going to share it right now
Oh yeah.
on the
Did you
screen.
did
It
you like how did
is.
you like how it looked?
I think it's super cool. I
I like
mean,
it. Yeah.
I think it's really cool. It's probably a top 3 of the Mega Mutant. Anytime that a new one is minted, everyone has to put out their power rankings of which Mega
Yeah.
Mutant is their favorite.
Yeah.
And to me, this is definitely up there. I just think it's just real wild.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the trippy fur apes, and so having this as the Mega Mutant, I think, is really, really cool.
Some
So interested to see what happens with the other 2 serums. One of them is for sale for like 4,200 ETH. We'll see if that
Oh
sells.
yes.
The guy who owns the other one has been in touch with the other owner about buying it and holding both of them, because then he would guarantee himself the golden Mega
Wow.
Mutant, which is pretty
Imagine.
wild. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. We also had, we can't talk about apes without also talking about punks.
You know,
Unfortunately,
as it goes.
punks were not in the news for a good reason this week. Earlier in the week, I believe it was Wednesday, CryptoPunks were supposed to have a auction through Sotheby's, where a single owner who has 104 punks was going to auction off all of them. This was someone who went out, purchased 104 last year, talked about how he or she was going to push the brand forward with it.
Wow.
Sotheby's created this whole big in-person auction for it. They had all sorts of displays and in-person features made for this
Yeah.
auction, and then last minute the owner withdrew the lot. I was watching it live. They had like their own YouTube stream going. I was watching as they were getting ready, and the voice comes on and says, "This lot has been withdrawn. The party will continue afterwards. Have a good night." And I was just like, "What?"
Is that even allowed? Like, is that even a thing? Why
I
would they
guess
be
so.
allowed to withdraw
And
it?
then
It's
then the
weird.
guy goes on Twitter minutes after and was like, "Deciding to hodl, lol." And I was like, "Wow, that is a bad look right there." I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that this person realized that the floor, they probably agreed to it when the floor on punks was closer to 100, and now that last I checked, the floor was in the mid 60s. I think that probably influenced their decision on it a little bit, because they saw that they weren't going to get the kind of return that they were hoping for,
Yeah.
which to me, I think that's a really bad look for NFTs in general. You know, maybe I'm old fashioned in that if I give someone my word, they're like, "Hey, I'm going to sell this," especially
Yeah.
with a company who's going through the whole process of creating a whole, a live in-person event for this auction.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you got to go through with it. Otherwise, you just look like a scumbag. Like, that is a
Yeah.
really immature and unprofessional way to handle things, and I think it reflects poorly on the entire NFT community.
I think that the moment they agreed on doing that, it should have just been like just set in stone. I don't think they
Yeah.
should be allowed to be like last minute be like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. The price
Yeah.
gone down. Like,
When
okay.
Bored Apes had their auction last year of 101 apes, the apes were moved to, I think it was Christie's, or maybe been Sotheby's as well. I think
Yeah.
actually it was Sotheby's. It was moved to an account that Sotheby's controlled, so the
Yeah.
person couldn't welch on it and do this exact thing. And I don't understand why that didn't happen, this time around. But yeah, not a good look for that. But we have seen a few other big sales this week. One of the more notable ones being the Invisible Friends one of
Yeah.
one golden friend that was auctioned off, and it's all the funds are going to charity, which I think is great. We don't know which charity yet, and from what I can tell, the buyer has requested to be able to choose the charity that the money is going to.
Wow.
I don't, I
Respect.
don't, I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
Yeah.
So interested how that plays out. And from what I also understand, I bag on OpenSea a lot. I'll give credit where it's due. I believe that OpenSea did not take a fee on this.
Wow.
I don't think they took their normal 2.5% fee, which
Good.
is a good look, because taking a fee on a charity auction would be pretty bad. And OpenSea needs all the good PR they can get right now.
Yeah.
So it ended up selling for 496.69 ETH because we're immature and we have
As
to
it
use
goes.
the meme.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to use the meme numbers. And this was right around when Invisible Friends were launching and did their mint that same day. So it was a pretty wild experience for those who were able to be on the allow list for it. 5,000 pieces minted out at 0.25. I think the highest sale I saw was right around 14 ETH for one, and
Yeah.
the floor has pulled back to just around 9 right now.
Yeah.
Which that's when you and I talked on Tuesday, we discussed that was kind of where we thought it might be. I had two concerns going into it, which was going to be, what is the royalty fee on it? And
Yeah.
that goes hand in hand with my second concern of when is the reveal going to be? One of my biggest problems with other projects that are super hyped up, like Mechaverse and Hape, has been the length of time that these have sat on OpenSea pre-reveal. Because
Yeah.
to me, if a project has a high royalty fee, Invisible Friends is 5, which I don't think is unreasonable. If it was like 7.5 or 10%, that would be unreasonably high. But some of these more hype projects that have a super high floor
Mhm.
pre-reveal, when they just sit around for a while, to me, if you've been hyping a project for months, I get the vibe that you're letting it sit there because the price is going to go down post-reveal, and you're trying to collect all these royalties as quickly, as much royalties as you can before the floor goes down.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the case. I've never created a project, so I could be totally off base there. That's just my own personal opinion on it. I'm not trying to FUD anything for anyone who's going to.
He's funny again, guys. He's funny again. Get him.
FUDing again, the king of FUD over here.
The fodder, yeah.
But I do think that Invisible Friends 4 will hold up better than Hape.
The
and
other
Mechaverse.
projects.
I don't even know what to say anymore without pissing people off. Just due to the fact that Random Character Collective has had other projects before. This isn't their first time, and these are fairly unique. Let's just be honest. Hape was not that unique of a project, and they look terrible. So that's just once again my opinion on it. I do not represent all of FLOLiO in this. So
There you go.
Mike and Chris, if you have some bags, don't get mad at me about it. All right.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on Invisible Friends?
Yeah, I believe someone told me, a friend of mine in Holder, in the Holder chat of Discord, they said it was going to be one day after sellout. So we're hopefully seeing. So that should be today at least, but
Yeah.
Perhaps they were referring. So they were still. I think there were like 31 that were not minted, and of course that sale lasts 24 hours. So I guess they're going to be doing something with those 31 or however many they are, and then do one day after those are gone as well. At least that's what I think. So, but I don't think they have said anything public yet, unless I missed it.
Okay.
I could have a little quick glance, see if. Let's see. Small update on reveal. GIFs or GIFs, I know, are all ready to go, but we are making sure the profile picture tool will be set for reveal time What this entails is going over frame one of each animation and making sure there are no errors. Um, so yeah, basically coming soon. So we're not going to be seeing a was it Hape that did like a few weeks sitting there without any review.
Felt like a month, but I mean that could just be the
Yeah.
fudder. That could be the fudder in me once
Oh
again.
no, there he
Uh,
goes again, guys.
all right, let's move on from FUD topics to to something else. Uh, Cool Cats this week has had quite the roller coaster as well.
Oh no, he's funny
As a
again.
I'm not fudding anything, Daniel. As a cool pets holder, it's nice to see. I own 2 of those eggs. Good to see that bounce back
Nice,
up
me
a little
too.
bit. Um, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I feel like
Yeah.
I can't say anything without
No,
getting
yeah.
attacked over here.
No, yeah, I can say that. I can say it. So Cool Cats went as low as 7 ETH. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. So it's basically everything combined in the world, plus the fact that they've been having a lot of issues pushing out their Cool Pets game. So I was thinking about picking one up, and I was like, oh, but I have to sell stuff to buy it. So I didn't. At the end, I didn't sell anything because I don't know. I'm not gonna sell into in like a time like this, and just going to be holding for the future. And Cool Pets went as low as like 1.2, I think I saw, and now it's back at 2 ETH. So it's a very large rebound. So it's really nice to
Yes,
see.
that's a big
Um,
swing right there.
yeah, but and I think it's important to always realize, like with stuff like this, especially a play to earn, when prices change, ask yourself if anything has changed about the project. Because the answer is almost always no, nothing has changed, right? For example, like Wolf game stuff, if price goes down like 50%, I always ask myself, okay, but does this change any like core fundamentals of Wolf game? No, it doesn't, right? Games set to launch like months later, and like a short term price fluctuation doesn't really matter too much. So keep
I
a
guess
clear head.
Yeah, I guess I will fud my own bags here. The poor communication from the
Yeah.
team does feel like a big negative to me. I Communication is so important with
Hmm.
all of this that if you aren't giving people, and we're seeing this a lot with like
Yeah.
Dapper Labs and NBA Top Shot and all of their projects, is people the community sentiment is so heavily dictated by communication or a lack thereof, and you don't need to have like the most detailed thing every day. You don't need to have a line by line code breakdown every day,
Yeah.
but providing people with like some clear mile markers of like, hey, here's what we're aiming for, and following through on those is just so important. It really is. So I hope they can turn it around, because I would like to get this show on the road with Cooltopia. And I don't know how much questing I'm going to do with my cool pet, but I think it'll be something fun to check out. So hoping we get some of that soon. So going back to some of the projects we talked about on Tuesday, quite a few others have dropped since then. We discussed Dented Fields and Weather Report, and for the time being, it looks like we were right about not about staying
Hmm.
away from both of those projects. Dented Fields slowly sold out. It is sitting just below mid price right now, and quite honestly, I think that they do have a pretty solid team. So I know a few of the community people like from Twitter. I've had interactions with them, and I have faith that they're gonna keep building. So I may end up picking up a couple of these after the reveal if they dip
Yeah.
further down, because I think that it's a it's a reasonable enough price point that they could definitely bounce and do some really good things. Weather Report, as far as I know, they still haven't dropped yet. And I also forgot to mention something else on Tuesday, which was the fact that they were giving whitelist spots to people who were unfollowing Dented Fields. Uh, that level of pettiness and
Yeah.
immaturity is not something I want to have. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, man.
Yeah.
Like that's so bad. Like
It's in really bad taste as well.
that's a really shitty way to do business and to try to get people involved in your project. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, it's you can be upset that this guy backed out of his agreement, and you can be upset that he's launching his own project and that he's putting this stuff out there about you. I totally get it. Have your response and act like an adult. Like, don't be a petty child, and that is very petty.
Yeah, and especially in NFT space, it's like you can't really grow by putting others down. Just not how like the community reacts over here in general. And I know it's kind of weird to say the community when we talk about like I don't know like a couple million people, but at least I think that's a couple million people, right? But yeah, I don't think that really flies over here. I think people really react to it in like disgust kind of when people do that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, this is like the level of pettiness we've never really seen before in a project, and best to just like you know be the bigger person, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between, being, because we talk about too, like all the people who are like, oh, we're all going to make it, and just like
Yeah,
blind positivity, how that's not good. But going too far the other direction is not good either. Like, having honest communication about things is important, and that seems to be, people get attached to the projects that they really support and will like vehemently defend it and not be open to the idea that they may be wrong. And
yeah,
so just the discourse on Twitter lately has been super super toxic and negative, and I'm really trying to not fall into that and to have meaningful discussions with people, and I hope that these other projects can try to do the same. And we
yeah.
can
Have
try to
you
like go ahead.
have you have you seen this? There's something about Twitter today or yesterday where someone listed like $13 below floor on a project. And they were
Oh
getting like
yeah.
hate DMs,
Oh my
like
god.
really bad ones as well.
Yeah, some really really horrible stuff. We're not going to share
Yeah,
exactly. I know what you're talking about and exactly what they
yeah.
said. You can try to find it if you want, but yeah, that person needs to like get off of Twitter for a while. That person needs to like
Stop NFTs
get
in
off
general.
get off of their computer. uh Maybe go like speak to a therapist about like their
Honestly,
anger
yeah,
issues. Honestly,
I think
I was
so.
having this discussion on Twitter earlier about like
Yeah,
mental health, and just how people need to work on that, and it's good to talk to a professional about it.
yeah.
Maybe if you're threatening to murder someone because they undercut the floor by $15, you probably need to go get some professional help.
And that's not
Uh,
even undercutting, is it? Like it's just listing for, like I think like in my head, undercutting is like listing like for way cheaper, right?
yeah, yeah. Like that's if the floor was $17 and they listed something for two. I mean, I don't even
Yeah,
know. I don't even know what to say at that point.
yeah.
So there's that. We Let's move on from that topic.
Okay.
Have you seen the Tubby Cats? Do you own a Tubby Cat? Are you going to
Um,
buy a Tubby Cat? I know nothing. Like,
I know nothing about the project other than the fact that I saw someone mint 1,000 or something.
yeah. So Tubby Cats is a project created by Ratwell. I don't know much about him. I know he's
Hmm.
well respected in the crypto Twitter community. So 20,000 supply. Current floor is point 0.6. Someone spent $500,000 on
And gas
gas
or something,
to
right?
mint. Let me. You heard me right. If you thought that
Yeah,
I misspoke and you're like, oh, he must have been like half an Ethereum. No, no, no. $500,000 in Ethereum
yeah,
on gas to mint 1,000 of them. Uh, wow, that is wild. The amount of
yeah,
money that people have to throw around on gas to mint 1,000 pictures of Tubby Cats. Um, you know, they're not for me. I personally don't care for how they look, but I will say that like the meme potential is incredibly strong with these Tubby Cats, and I
yeah,
could see them doing very well because of that. I think they've gotten quite a bit of support and traction so far, and a point 0.6 ETH floor for a 20K supply project may seem high, but I don't see why it can't get
oh yeah, I
over
saw
an ETH or
this.
beyond. Yeah, what now?
Yeah, I didn't like how they looked. Only thing I liked was their one out of ones. They looked like really good.
Yeah,
But their
yeah,
normal ones
yeah.
kind of look like I like cute stuff, but not like that, I suppose.
Not my thing. To each their own. I maybe I missed the boat on the next BAYC for all I know, but I don't plan to buy them. One thing I do want to get my hands on is a star catcher. So let's
He's pulling it up.
if
He's
you're
pulling it up.
if you're listening to this on like a podcast, I recommend you go to OpenSea.io, search star catchers as soon as possible, or watch this back on YouTube so you can see this fantastic pre-reveal artwork that Starcatcher made.
Yeah.
It is really one of the funniest things I've seen on here. In my opinion, best pre-reveal artwork of any project, hands down. So this is what you see before your Starcatcher is going to reveal.
Yeah. If you're under 18,
That's hilarious.
please avert your eyes.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely hilarious. Like the butt chin is pretty funny on the actual star itself.
Yeah.
The bodybuilder physique of this cute little star thing is that's something, man. That's some Arnold Schwarzenegger level of physique right there out of this cute little star. So those are star catchers. They are awesome. I will be keeping my eye on the post reveal floor. It's sitting right around 0.67 currently. So that's one project I'm keeping my eye on over the coming days. Did you get any three landers?
I wish I tried, but they went up to 2 point something, was it?
Yeah, this is another one of those situations where having an 8-week-old baby and not really keeping up on much of anything that's going on is continuing to bite me in the ass. So Daniel, I'm gonna need you to up your game. I need you to spend more time on NFT stuff.
Even more.
Me with like a Daniel's daily rundown.
You can hire me if you want.
All right, get on Fiverr. I'll hire you for like $5 an hour, like these people who are getting.
I think I'm more expensive than that.
God, I can't afford that right now, Daniel.
That's
Bored apes are down to an 80th floor. Like we
both
know.
We're now in poverty.
Yeah. Let's not make light of anything right now. Yeah. What's the deal with the three landers? I know that they've gotten a lot of traction. They look kind of cool.
I'm not sure what the deal is with three landers. They were getting hyped up from the get-go. Well, I wouldn't say like hyped up, but like they had some traction just because their art looked really good and they had like really good world building, and I think they had or they have like connections to people. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The art looks good. It's like kind of like Rick and Morty type art style.
Yeah.
And they had like I think they had like a beautiful website as well, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I can maybe nothing really worth sharing, but yeah, honestly, not too sure about their project. All I know is it looked really good, and they did a great job building their whole world out, and it's nice to see them going up to a 2.6 floor right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens over the weekend with all of these things, and with Invisible Friends going live and revealing what happens there.
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise right now, right? Like, is the floor going down? Yeah, like how much? Like, is history going to repeat, and are we going to see like a 1/8 floor? You know?
I don't think so. I would.
Yeah.
My suspicion is if it goes, not if it will go down some. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
People aren't going to mint a 1 of 1 or anything, and they'll undercut the floor. I would expect it to still sit in like the 5 to 6 range. You know, like. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another run up on it, similar to what happened with like Azuki.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we saw the Azuki was at like what 3 ETH pre-reveal, and then it caught some traction and ran up. And this is an even lower supply, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if after the initial pullback, it didn't surpass the current floor here within the next week.
Yeah, and it's important to remember there's still like a use for them. Because the next group of the random character like collective projects, I think they're either whitelisted or they have like a high chance to be whitelisted. So that that'll give value from the get go. So especially in like a project like this, like imagine if like Bored Ape is like guaranteed to have another set coming like after the Mutants, or like after were the dogs. Were the Kennel Club, was that before or after the Mutants?
Kennel Club came before the Mutants. So the dogs came out, like a month or two after the apes did. And then a few months after that was the mutants. Another thing with Invisible Friends, because you were only able to mint one, the current holder count, it's a 5,000 item collection, and the current number of owners is 4.5K.
Yeah.
So the vast majority of people only hold one, and if Random Character Collective, comes out and pretty quickly makes it known that holding this is going to provide more and more value long term, I think that my dog is going crazy right now. So if she barks over me, my apologies. But oh god, here we go. She saw another dog. Hold on a second, Dan.
All hell breaks loose. But essentially, what he's trying to say is that they can definitely preserve their value more if they have like a guaranteed type value coming in. All right, carry on. You're back.
That was fun. Actually, no, I'm not back.
He's gone again. The dog is on the loose. But yeah, so the main question that we're going to be seeing this week is, or at least maybe next week, depending on when they reveal, is their value going to be preserved, or are we going to see it go down? Like we've seen with projects like Mechaverse, Oni, Hape. What was it? Hape? Prime Hape? Do you know what was it called? Prime Hape? Hape Prime?
Hape Prime.
Yeah, so that's the real question. But
Yeah.
I think it'll do well. I think.
I don't remember what I was saying. There's a high number of unique owners. If they show value in holding for long term,
Yeah.
that should stay high. That should keep the floor high. So I'll be keeping an eye out. I may try to see if I can snag one if the floor dips down to like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very likely.
Yeah.
I see these holding their value pretty well. That doesn't mean I'm buying at 9 by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll see what happens over the coming days.
Definitely.
I might drink a little too much red wine tonight, get a little frisky, and go buy an Invisible Friend. Who knows?
Yeah, and speaking about the next couple of days, tomorrow the Wonder Pals mint begins, and you gotta keep your eyes open for that one because they've been building for quite some time, have some great connections with other projects, have done some like great like whitelist collaborations with like Invisible Friends, like any large project really. So they're bound to do well. So keep your eye out on that project.
All right, I think that is a good place to wrap it up today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Once again, thank you for everyone who checked out the show today. We tried to provide a little bit of information and insight while the world is in a weird place. So for Daniel, for the team at FLOLiO, this was Web3 and Me. I'm Jeremy Weber. I love you all very much. I hope you have a good weekend. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.